'cause I'm a fool for your love.
Hello everybody, my name is SARA GARCES and today we are in Ocreza River to talk about rock art. Okay. Welcome everybody to the Erasmus Mundus Master in Quaternary and Prehistory. I hope you will have a great time with us. Today we are going to talk about my area of specialization, which is Prehistoric Rock Art. And we are in the oldest rock art engraving in central Portugal, in the Ocreza horse. This is a Paleolithic horse that dates of around 20,000 years old. In this rock art course, we're going to talk about several issues. Documentation is one of the most important. How to date rock art, or if is it possible, actually, and different techniques, different styles, different rock art, and different chronologies that we have in Europe. Everything is really important to try to understand the symbolic behavior of past societies. I will start talking about documentation. It's one of the main issues that I work and have been working for a long time, and I think it's one of the most important issues regarding rock art. Not only because rock art sites are considered very fragile sites, but because a very good documentation helps us in the research afterwards. So the normal methods that today are used to do documentation are very important to learn, or at least to know what is available if one day you cross into one rock art site. What can we do of documentation these days? Well, we still have a lot of two-dimension rock art techniques of documentation, but mainly we can actually apply a mixture of two-dimension and 3D photogrammetry techniques. And then we have to consider the actually site. Is it engraved site? Is it a painted site? These two different techniques have different approaches of how to document a site. The engravings cannot be the same, cannot have the same approach of a painted site, because painted sites are extremely fragile and the conservation state sometimes are not the most desirable, I think. So, first rule of painted sites:
do not touch the painting.
We can have different contexts, in cave, open air, along the rivers, in the edges of the rivers, for example. But if they are open air mainly, they face probably big issues of conservation, and the approach of documenting these sites has to be very well considered. What can we do today? We can make prospection, we can make in the site forms, documentation forms. We can make a lot of photographic work, mainly of that, and then make this digital tracing of this photographic work in the laboratory afterwards. The most important is we have a lot of material, a lot of documentation of the site, so we can work in different approaches in the laboratory after. The engravings are a little different. We can still use, depending on the conservation issues of the site, two-dimension techniques like using plastics to make the drawing over, or just use photographic techniques if we prefer not to touch, or if it is preferable not to touch the rock art itself. The conservation of the sites, it's very important. We don't want to damage rock art. In painting sites, we can use actually a tool that has been available for some time now called D-Stretch. D-Stretch is a set of filters that work on the photography of a painted site that actually help us to enhance all the pigments and the paintings that we see in a wall. No matter what the color that we really want to see, and many times it's really hard to see, with this tool we can actually use it. It's a plugin from an ImageJ program application. It's a small application for your computer, and really is helping a lot of archaeologists and rock art researchers in the world to rediscover paintings that are no longer visible to the naked eye. So this will be one of the strongest points that we will learn in rock art classes. Another important issue that we are working lately, it is about two different aspects of the rock art research, but they actually complement a little bit between each other. It's about the dating of rock art, how to date rock art, if it's possible to date rock art or not, and if it is possible, which methods can we use and what can we what can we expect from the methods that we want to use to date rock art.
Cause I'm a fool for your love.
Estamos en una cueva de Maltravieso, en el suroeste de la península ibérica, en la provincia de Cáceres, muy cerca de la frontera con Portugal y muy cerca de la cueva Escural. Esta es una cueva que se caracteriza por tener un arte con unas características muy antiguas. La mayor parte es un arte fundamentalmente simbólico. La mayor parte de esos símbolos son manos. Manos hechas en negativo, esto es, apoyando la mano sobre la pared y soplando el pigmento, y manos hechas algunas en positivo, esto es, echando el pigmento sobre la mano que era apoyada sobre la pared. Además de las manos tenemos algunos otros símbolos como las figuras rojas sopladas, triángulos pintados en rojo y algunos otros grabados. De esos grabados sí que tenemos representaciones de animales, representaciones figuradas, fundamentalmente caballos y algunos ciervos. La cronología de estas representaciones es bastante polémica porque ha sido fechada hasta el momento por un solo equipo usando el método de la datación por uranio-torio. Esto es, la degradación del uranio hacia el torio permite documentar las pinturas y han dado a algunas de estas manos una fecha que supera los 60.000 años. Por tanto, en ese momento, en la península ibérica, con esa datación tan antigua, solo tenemos constancia de que estaban viviendo los neandertales y no existían o aún no habían llegado los sapiens a la península ibérica. Por tanto, si aceptamos la fecha de 60.000 años para la datación de esas pinturas, estas pinturas tienen que ser obligatoriamente hechas por neandertales y por tanto sería la primera evidencia de arte rupestre neandertal que existe en Europa.
Another very important issue is about the pigment analysis. Rock art sites that have paintings can be analyzed through a set of archaeometric techniques, multi-proxy archaeometric techniques that can actually tell us what are the pigments made of, if they have organics or not, which is a very important issue right now in rock art research in the world, because if they have organics, we can actually try to make a direct dating of the paintings. And dating rock art is very difficult, even today. Only a few methods are used. There are a lot of discussion about if those methods are available or not. It depends on the context that we are talking about. It's a very trendy issue in the rock art research of today, and we have a research line that actually takes a lot of time and effort to try to understand better what can we know from the pigments of rock art and how can we assess the behavior, the symbolic behavior of past societies of the sites that we are studying through the pigment analysis. And this is actually a very, very interesting research line that we have, and we hope to try to develop more in the future. And right now we are actually working a very interesting project regarding pigments analysis and dating rock art in cave context. If you want to know more about it, you should join us in the Laboratory of Rock Art in Mação.